ADHD Babes, the podcast, a podcast hosted by the ADHD Babes community for the community. Please note, nothing mentioned during the podcast is meant as a diagnosis. If you believe you have ADHD, please seek professional advice and visit or join ADHDBabes.com for help with diagnosis. No clinical diagnosis is required to join. And now, you're listening to the next episode of ADHD Babes, the podcast.
Welcome back to another episode with us at ADHD Babes, the podcast. Thank you everyone who's joined us so far. Please don't forget to follow, leave us a rating and review and share with others. Today's episode is hosted by me, Ana Ramos. And this episode is super special because we're joined by some of the team behind the ADHD Babes, the support group. They run each of the sessions, both UK and US time zones, and are joining us today to give us some insight behind the scenes. All support team hosts are volunteers who are members of the ADHD Babes community and who want to give back. Welcome all. Can you please introduce yourself by letting us know your name, whether you host the UK or the US support group, and why do you volunteer? I don't know if is everybody going to remember those. I can remind you when you're introducing yourself. Please go ahead, ChiChi.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm ChiChi Anu, and I'm also co-host of this podcast sometimes. So yes, I host primarily the US, but I have helped out with hosting the UK support group. And so yeah, I like to do it because it's fun for me. I like that setting of being able to support people and host a Zoom or online meeting. And the way ADHD Babes does it is really, really friendly. There's a format that we follow, and it's done in a very safe, structured way. So I like it. And I like being involved with the community because the way my ADHD is, I do better if I'm actually doing something for a community. So I show up. That's just how I am. So then it's not a question with, should I go? Should I not? It's like, no, you're hosting. So you need to go. So go. Get out of bed and go. So I'm grateful. I'm learning how my own brain works.
Yes.
And also support group hosts are paid, which I did not know when I first started volunteering. I was like, what? So I'm having this awesome thing happening in my life where I'm starting to get paid for things that I would do anyway.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
Amazing.
So, yes.
Thank you so much, ChiChi. Jay, hi.
Hi, everybody. I am Jay Reed. I am a host of the U.S. Support groups that we're holding now, but I've been a part of ADHD Babes for a while. I think my first time attending a support group was a UK support group back in 2020. And so ADHD Babes was the first community of Black women and non-binary folks who reflected back to me my own experience. Also, because ADHD Babes was so welcoming, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to give back in this way. I wasn't sure if I was going to be welcome because I'm from the US. I wasn't sure if I was going to be welcome because I was late diagnosed in my 40s. And I'm like, okay, am I too old? Am I too American? Am I too different? And none of those things were a problem at all. I was welcomed with open arms. Um, that is the wonderful thing that ADHD Babe does so well is make you feel welcome and make you feel safe, holding space for all of you when you're accustomed to having to leave parts of yourself out. This organization has encouraged me to bring my authentic self to everything that I do. And it's also really affirmed that even though I am neurodivergent and disabled, um, those things are not, they don't get in the way of me being able to do this work, because we talk about, what is your ability right now? What is your bandwidth? Do you have the spoons for it? And I've never seen an organization say that, talk that talk and then walk that walk, to where it's like, oh no, you're burnt out or you need support, go take care of yourself, go do what you need to do. We'll check in with you. Let us know if we can help you. And the opportunity that you wanted to take a part of will be right here when you're ready. That that kind of an affirmation that what I bring to the table is enough, and who I am is enough, and that my disability doesn't preclude me from being able to be a part of this. That's why I give back. And then I show up and see a screen full of other people in the world who know exactly what my experience is. There's so much I don't have to explain. That's why I keep showing up time after time for ADHD Babes. And now we're starting to see other people live, right? After 5 years, you've met people who've made it through their graduate program, who've moved across the country, who've had a baby, all of these things. So now we're starting to see each other's lives, and go along with each other's journey, from seeing each other a couple times a month at a support group. That's magical. So yeah, I do what I do to be a part of the magic and hopefully give some of that back, that I've received. And when I say received and given freely.
Thank you so much. It's very nice to meet you and to get to know you a lot, much, much better. Who would like to go next? I don't want to pick anyone. I just want to sort of like see who else wants to jump into introducing themselves.
Hi everyone, I'm LiLi K. Bright. I host the UK support group and I volunteer. So I started volunteering primarily to help me attend the support group. I was like, if I host this, I will go. I knew I wanted to be attending like on a regular basis. So yeah, and it's something that I knew was going to be mutually supportive. If I was hosting, then I'd be contributing to it happening and getting to participate as well. And yeah, it's really important to me to put time and attention into the kinds of spaces I want to exist more in the world, especially in terms of my work.
Thank you so much, LiLi. And Vivienne.
Hey, sorry, can you remember the question?
Yes, of course. So the question is your name, whether you host the UK or the support group in the US, and why do you volunteer?
Okay. By the way, no one's a volunteer on the thingy, by the way.
Everyone
Yeah, not
gets
anymore, which is
paid.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so cool. So yeah, hey, my name is Vivienne Isebo, and I primarily host the UK support group and co-host the UK support group, but every so often I also am lucky enough to stay up late and be chilling with the US folk at 11 p.m. to midnight, which was so fun. It feels like a sleepover. So yeah, I'm lucky enough to do both. And the reason I host a session is because the support group is actually the first event that we ever did as an organization. So when we went public with myself and the two co-founders at the time, Cynthia and Angelica, it was the first offering that we had. Originally, when we was in the WhatsApp group, we were like just meeting on Zoom. Like Cynthia had like an ongoing Zoom link, and then it would just be like on a random thing of like, oh, who wants to jump on Zoom? And yeah, I think at first it was literally just like three of us, me, Cynthia, and one other person. And then over time it kind of picked up a little bit. And then when we finally sat down and yeah, I just finished a master's that was like looking at psychology and community work, and I was like, oh, do you know what? We could be that. Like we're basically that already. So yeah, we had a meeting as a three. Never forget this, in like a vegan Caribbean cafe in Stoke Newington, All Nations Vegan Cafe, one wonderful food. Yeah, and that was the first thing we did. We set up the Eventbrite. got on socials, got on Twitter, blah, blah, blah. And that was like, that's been the ongoing thing that we've done right from the start. So yeah, it's literally like coming to 5 years of doing that twice a month, pretty much every month. There's been like one or two occasions where we haven't run it for different reasons, whether it's capacity or whatnot. But yeah, from those 5 years, and it's been a complete joy. It's like Jay was saying, the holding of space is like reciprocal. It's like you receive so much when you give, and it's like everyone kind of pouring into each other's cups, even on days where like I'm very exhausted. Because at the time, there was a point where it was just me and another co-host, Opus, and we were hosting every single one because we didn't have anyone on the team. So yeah, there were times where it felt exhausting, but then you get there and you see everyone's face, and then you have the joy and you have the laughter and you have the holding of like collective pain and difficulties and just reminders that you're not alone. So every time it's like another reason to propel forward. So yeah, that's why.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Viv. Oh, and in true support group fashion, can you each tell me one thing you're happy to have achieved this week?
Say something. I'm horrible at talking about money, and I asked for a raise at my job,
Amazing.
and I got it, along with
Amazing.
some really great affirmation about the value that I bring to my organization. And I tell folks all the time, feedback, 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 give feedback. And I was over there terrified. Um, so I took my own advice and asked, because the answer is no unless you ask. And I asked, and it went so well. So
Amazing.
I'm proud of myself for that one, and it's gonna remind me the next time I'm stuck behind something of what could be on the other side of my fear. So I'm using that one.
Brilliant. Well done. Congratulations. That is
Thank
amazing
you.
news.
Thank you.
Advocating.
Yes, Jay.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yes.
That is amazing. Amazing news. How about you, LiLi?
Well, so I've been in a lot of pain today. And so today I have been like taking things slowly, moving forward. Small steps is better than being stationary. So I'm decluttering at the moment. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to do this one box of books. I'm going to put the TV on. I'm going to have my hot water bottle. I'm going to have my tea. And yeah, it feels really good to be still making progress whilst looking after myself, whilst resting when I need to. Yeah, so that's something that I have achieved that I'm proud of this week.
Amazing. Amazing. Well done. How about you, ChiChi?
I opened up probably more than I should have to relatives yesterday, and it was horrible. And somebody got really upset, and I get very triggered, very sensitive to words, and if somebody's really upset, I'm Nigerian, and when I like I can yell back, So I started, but then I did something, and I stopped, closed my eyes, and I reminded myself that my safety was within me. And I literally, this person was screaming and yelling in my face. And I was able to just stop and close my eyes and just breathe. I've never been able, as in my recollection, being able to do that before in person, in the moment, ever, I don't think. So it was hard, and I'm still like dealing with it. Like today, I didn't even want to get out of bed, like coming. So one thing to say about ADHD Babes events, whether it's hosting a podcast or being a support group host, it helps me get out of bed, helps me get out of bed. And that's important, in this time in my life where I'm healing from burnout and doing stuff. So, but the fact that I was able to just stop and breathe and not lose my ish, because I lose my ish too. I lose it. And yeah, I'm very external processing. So yeah, it's huge for me. So yeah.
Well done.
Thanks.
Pick up yourself, ChiChi, man. That's big. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. It's breaking cycles. Yeah.
Woo! Amen. Amen.
That's big. I made a commitment to myself when recovering from burnout and like in the middle of therapy to give myself Fridays because I was like off work for quite a long time. So like I started this thing called Self-Care Fridays. And this summer I fell off because in true ADHD fashion, I said yes to a lot of things at different times and they just all came together like a lovely tornado. So it just fell off and I could feel the impact. So on Friday, I picked it back up and I had my first self-care Friday in a long time. And I went to the gym and I went sauna and I got some food and I was like, yeah, man, this is nice. I like this. So yeah, that's come back in now. That's here to stay again. So
Good.
yeah.
So, I would like to
Anna,
say that this week
Anna,
for me, I've been having difficulties regulating a lot of my emotions. It's been a very, very, very difficult week, but what I've managed to do is, and sometimes obviously you have that inattentiveness because I've got combined, just try and focus on the good bits and also know that even in the middle of all the bad of the good bits, there's bad bits and not so much think about those bad bits. I was quite nervous because my daughter got her A-level results on Thursday and I couldn't sleep at all. I was just like, oh my God, please let her have her grades. Um, she's autistic and she's worked really hard on her own for a very long time. She was only diagnosed 3 months before sitting her A levels. So just managing not to fall into that path of which is really bad anxiety and unable to, regulate those feelings has been for me a very big win this week. Um, and and yes, I just want to share that with you guys. So,
thank you for sharing that, Anna.
how do you, pardon?
I was just saying thank you for
Ah,
sharing that. I
thank you.
just wanted to because
Yes.
I was sharing about the regulating and dealing with relatives
Yeah,
and family and yeah,
it's really hard.
yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah,
So big up to you,
thank you.
really. Yes. And I did want to mention one thing because Viv talked about self-care Fridays and I just wanted to pause and highlight that because I I for me like the idea of like doing something daily, like my brain is like, no, but I love Viv that you have like, I do it on Fridays. It doesn't mean you can't do self-care other days, but it's like self-care Friday. So I love that. I'm going to think about adding that to my toolbox. So I just
Right,
wanted to like, to highlight that for anybody who's listening and maybe like, yeah.
do that.
So yes.
So the
Yeah.
support sessions, they run fortnightly on Wednesdays, much like the podcast releases as well. Why is it helpful to join the support group, Reed? Sorry, Jay. Just said I've called you by your surname.
That's okay. I have a friend that does. That's all right.
Let's read.
Ah,
Can you repeat just can you repeat the
yes, of
question?
course. So the
Okay.
support sessions, they run fortnightly on Wednesdays, right?
Right.
Much like the podcast release as well. Why is it helpful to join the support group? Why is it, to tell our listeners, why is it helpful to join the support group?
I'm gonna try to keep it to just a few reasons. But there's so many. One of which is just not feeling alone in the world with your challenges. When we feel challenged or we feel overwhelmed, it's a really isolating feeling most of the time, especially if you don't have other people around you who understand what the challenge is. And sometimes we can have other people in our lives who have ADHD, but they don't make any adjustments in their lives for their ADHD. And so
Yeah.
when you're talking about this is too much, it's too hard, I'm overwhelmed, in those cases, sometimes because they're not offering themselves that support, they can't give it to you. That's not what happens in our support groups. You know, I've yet to see anyone talk about a challenge that somebody else wasn't going through or hadn't been through. And I've yet to see anybody bring up a challenge or ask a question that somebody didn't have like a resource to go in the chat, this website, this, check out this app, or I do this, or I work in this profession and this is how we help our clients when they're going through that. Like there's always something. I remember when one person showed up and she was having a big struggle with food. And food for us can already be a kind of an issue. We feel hunger and thirst sometimes differently than neurotypicals do, and we have all of those texture issues and sensory issues with food. Okay, so a lot of us understood that, but then she found out she had a lot of other food allergies, and everybody was talking about what they do for sensory issues and maybe one, but she had like four. And so I just remember kind of the support group getting quiet, and not as if we were frustrated that we didn't have an answer, but everybody just kind of sat with the fact that this is hard and we can't fix it. And then sat with her in that moment that this is hard and we recognize you can't fix it. Like, to be able to show up and you may not know these people. It might be your first time showing up and have something like that happen. I mean, I don't know. I haven't had another experience volunteering for other organizations where that happened. And I have volunteered for plenty of other organizations in my career. But to also just be like, you know what, we can't fix it. And sometimes with ADHD, the thing that you're struggling with isn't going anywhere. It's going to be a daily struggle, like time blindness. My ADHD takes no days off. And for other people who don't live that, for them to understand it is hard to explain. In our support groups, everybody already gets it. ADHD takes no days off. Your time blindness shows up every day. Your forgetfulness shows up every day. Your big emotions show up every day. And so somebody else who's dealing with that daily challenge just gets it without you having to explain it. So if you're struggling thinking, God, I'm the only person in the world who's dealing with all of this at the same time, show up to a support group and you'll find out. It's not one of those, oh, be grateful because it could be so much worse. It's more like, no, in community, we can deal with this. You don't have to struggle with this by yourself. Sometimes it's just knowing I'm not the only one. That right there is already a kind of a salve that other people are going through the same thing. I just, Tarana Burke talks about that being the power of community, and that we heal best in community. I
Amazing.
always
Yes.
call it good medicine. Good
Yes.
medicine.
Yes. Yes. Definitely. I agree with that. Heal in community. Chi, do you want to tell us?
Yeah, no, I really echo what Jay says, what Jay says. Really, really agree and echo. And first of all, Jay, I want to give you a shout out because Jay is one of those people with the resources. Resource queen. Like, Jay, you have the resources in support groups because I've co-hosted with Jay and been in support groups with Jay, and you always have resources and stuff to share. I love that. I find that helpful. I'm somebody who also shares resources too. And I just love how seamless it was for me. I joined ADHD Babes just last year, and I think it was like September, not that long, but it just felt just so seamless. I came, and it was a UK support group. I'm in the United States. I went to a UK support group, and I just felt welcomed and just part of. And I really want to highlight the support groups are free. You don't have to be a member. I wasn't a member of ADHD Babes. Like, I was really still like, I'm in a much better place with healing with burnout right now. And I'm doing a lot more and, but working on my business. But before, I was just barely hanging on, and I didn't have any money, and it was just really hard. And I was able, because it was free, and I just showed up and I just found my people. And so it was instant, and I just so grateful. And, other people that, Black people, very, very queer friendly, LGBTQ friendly, I identify as lesbian, and it was just really important to
Yeah.
me because sometimes in Black spaces, I don't always feel welcome, but I figured it would be okay because they talked about Black and non-binary people. And then there's so many, like a lot of they, them pronouns, like a lot of just very queer friendly. And I was just so grateful. And yeah, so I really just found like my people, and it's so I go, and I love the way that is set up for equity because one, the support groups are free, and even membership, like the lowest tier membership, like you still get the same benefits as the highest tier, which I love. But even if, I wasn't able to have the membership, but I was able to attend the support groups. And it's like, for me, it's like a heart of ADHD Babes. For me, because I'm in the US, I know that ADHD Babes also has in-person events, which are great, I'm sure. But because I'm in the US, for me, the support groups are really huge. So yeah, I really just encourage people to check it out. And dealing with family and who just don't get it. Yeah. Oh my God. And it's just so nice to be heard and to be affirmed and just to be like
Yeah.
hugged on and yeah, I literally hung out with somebody who was in the US for several weeks from ADHD Babes. We hung out a couple of times, like including on Saturday, and we, from the support groups, and like it's just like a new friend, and it's so healing. Each time I saw her, just so healing. And she like paid for me to have a massage,
Oh,
because she was like, "What do you want me?" I was like, I could use a massage. She was like, "Yes, you need some love." And I was like, "Oh, you get it. You get it." So, I just met this person in the support group and over Zoom. And yeah, it's like my sister from another person. So a sister from another mister. So it's home. Like, I'm so grateful.
it is very heartwarming, absolutely, hearing these stories and hearing, um, you know, what meeting new friends and finding your people, because it's so exhausting. It's so hard trying to explain to people every single time, every day, why, this happens, why that happens, why is it challenging, why is it difficult, burnt out, all of these. And now, for example, I resonate what you said earlier, Jay, about menopause. I'm also going through perimenopause at the moment, and actually it started about 2 years ago, and I just realized now because I went to a support group about it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known. I didn't recognize the symptoms. Because I also felt like, but I'm so young. Like, what? You hear the word menopause, and then you feel like it's the end. It's like the end of all things living inside of you. So amazing. Thank you so much. Viv.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing, Jay and ChiChi. It's really, really, really heartwarming to hear. Yeah, it makes my heart really happy to hear you guys say that. And the different levels as well, because yeah, like it is, we don't ever, like it's in our guidelines and things that we're an inclusive space, but I know not everybody reads the guidelines. So it's nice. You can just come to the place and it feels that way as well, because I think feeling is, yeah, that's how we experience the world, through feeling, and all the other stuff is just us like documenting those feelings into tangible things, but feeling first. So that makes me really happy. Why I think it's important to come to the support group. I think, yeah, like Jay and ChiChi has said, like the acceptance, the validation, the practical resources and support. I think I'm quite geared towards like being solution focused. I'm quite like, okay, this is the problem, this is the solution, and I really appreciate that in the space often people do offer that. And at the same, like you said, Jay, sometimes there is no solution. Sometimes the solution is to just be held and to be heard and to be seen, and that's equally as valid in terms of offering support. Um, I don't think that we try to pretend that we can solve everybody's problems, and sometimes it's literally just sitting in that and being like, look, can we swear here? Can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like that's the shit. That's a lot of shit, mate. Like, they say that. So yeah, man, it's garbage.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just call the spade a shitty spade and be like,
Yes, some days it be like that.
honestly, let's not pretend. Like, yeah, and I really appreciate that in the space. Like even the other day, like me and LiLi were hosting and we had like a really difficult thing happen in the session. And we just had to sit there and be like, okay, cool, let's just hold the space with this shit and just like, yeah, let's do that as a collective. Let's not like run away from it. Let's not diminish our feelings and silence ourselves, which is often what the world will tell us to do or tell us that we have to do. Or when we do speak, it's like you're too loud, you're too emotional, you're too sensitive, to this, to that, to that. Rather than actually, maybe you just don't have the space and the capacity to hold the things I'm bringing. So yeah, what I really appreciate, and I appreciate that in terms of like us as a team, like the reminder is that we don't need to have the solutions, that we just literally need to be with people. And that to me is what compassion really is. It's not like, you know, I'm up here trying to lift you up. It's like I'm sitting with you wherever you're at. And there's something like you said, Jay, about community, and like when you're seeing suddenly the thing that is like over, like it's like consuming your head. You say it out loud and then now suddenly it just starts to shrink because it's being held in a different way. And now suddenly it might even be a little bit funny. Like someone says it in a certain way or chucking it, you're like, raw. This was a big deal, but now I can see a bit of lightness to it. And there's something about not doing things alone that really does that for you. Or even just a space to cry. Like the amount of times people are crying on screen because they've got a bunch of love hearts or like they've just been able to speak freely without feeling like they need to package their experience, I think is very, very affirming to me. And thank you, Jay, for your comment in the chat. I appreciate that. Yeah, that means a lot to me as well, because I think when we started, again, like it was just like three babes that met on Facebook and we're like, yeah, all right, cool, let's try a thing. So like I didn't plan for it to be what it is. So like becoming and like being in a position of like, okay, cool, like what's the direction and what's the ethos and all those things are things that I had to figure out as we went along. So it does mean a lot to me that comes through, because that's where my heart and intention is, that I do want everyone to feel held as they're holding space, and for us to not think that we're here to fix. That's why it's by us, for us, very intentionally, because we have enough resources as a community. Like we have more than enough as a community. The world tells us that we don't, but like we're literally living proof that we do have enough. So yeah. Yeah, man.
Thank you so much, Faith. That's wonderful. It's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful to hear. To feel validated is one of the key words that I've taken from what you shared just with us just now. LiLi.
So I think it's helpful to, obviously all the things everyone said, like, and we could say so many more things. But yeah, I think it's helpful for people to join support group because you're welcome exactly as you are. Like, you don't have to get ready to join the Zoom. You don't have to be on time. You don't have to stay till the end. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to stop talking. Like, you can say as much as you want. You can talk about what you want. You could be doing your hair. You could be doing your laundry. You could be having your dinner. Whatever you're doing, whatever's going on, like, you can come. If you are struggling, you can come. If you're celebrating, you can come. Like, what if you're like, I think I might have ADHD, but I'm not really sure, you can come. If you've just been diagnosed, if you're diagnosed, like whatever's going on, wherever you're at, you can come along. And whether it's your first time or you've been coming all the time, whether you come occasionally when you remember, you're meant to come like 2 years ago and you just start, like, whatever's happening, someone else will be in a very similar position to you, at least one person. And yeah, and there's room for you to be there. There's space for you to be there. You don't have to apologize for anything, and you will be held with care. And all the things that you might have taken somewhere else and tried to get support with, or just been traveling with, where you haven't received that care, you can get it at support group. That's why I think it's helpful.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, LiLi. And the other thing that we would like to discuss is, what's your favorite thing about hosting the support?
So before you do that, can I just like add on to what LiLi said? about like showing up as you are, because I think like it's really nice when people have come on and like we're seeing them do their hair, and like by the end of the call, their hair's like ready to go into the bonnet to go to sleep. Or like, so I was like, yeah, I'm just cooking. And then by the end of the call, they're like, cool, my self-care is I'm ready to eat. Like, it's
Mhm.
actually quite warming that people can just literally show up as they're like, some people are getting ready, some people are winding down. Yeah. And I think that's also quite beautiful about being in community, that you can actually show up as you are. You don't need to get dressed up to be seen. And that's like a really important quality, I think. So thanks, LiLi, for saying that.
Thank Jay.
And I'm answering the question, what's fun about hosting?
Yes.
Ooh. Oh, okay. I'm gonna try to keep the list short again. One of the best things about hosting is actually getting to work behind the scenes with the other folks at ADHD Babes. Really and truly, like you're on a team. Y'all get to know each other better. You learn that you can work together in different states, in different time zones, in different countries, to the point where, you know, everybody's helping each other out. That is a beautiful thing to experience. And the other fun part of hosting, hmm, I get to help again, I get to pay it forward what other people did for me. Like ChiChi, one of the reasons I share so many resources is because I always got so many resources when I first started coming. Everything from, oh, that article is somebody will have linked an article in the chat. Somebody else has dropped
Mhm.
a website in the chat. Somebody else said, "Ooh, I listened to this podcast episode about that. There it is. Here's this new term we're learning, and that's dropped in the chat." Like people show up ready to share. It's not just the host that share either. Not to mention I've learned a lot from people, but also just to be able to show up and see other folks like me all over the world. It's amazing because we can be from such different cultures and still feel at home, and there's going to be something that resonates with you. There will always be something that resonates with you. I always say I show up to ADHD Babes because I host the third Wednesday of the month, and I'm chronically ill. So by the third week of any month, I'm starting to get kind of fatigued and tired. That's just what happens. And sometimes I've seen 6 clients before I show up. So sometimes I show up and I am tired,
Yeah.
right? And every time by the end of the session, after hosting, I'm too wired to go to sleep after because I have seen all these people, heard about their lives, what's going on with them, been able to share my own struggles. I talk in the session too and will say, "Hey, I'm struggling with this. Anybody else resonate?" And then, folks are holding space for me at that point. It always just energizes me. And as a person who's also autistic, socializing does not always energize me.
Mm.
If you have the autistic struggle, you know that being around other human beings can have its own, it just drains your energy. Hosting the groups never does that for me. And there aren't that many things that do that for me that involve people.
Yeah.
I hate to say it like that, but if anybody else is listening who's autistic, you know what it's like to show up to something, socialize, and actually feel more energized at the end. You know that that's rare. So that has to be something that's feeding me. So, and it happens every time. I don't care how tired I am, or I think I'm losing my voice, or, oh, I had a hellacious day at work. Every time I'm renewed by the end. So
Yeah.
I show up for selfish reasons because it makes me feel, it makes me feel,
Not selfish at all. No, no, no.
yeah,
You get to experience all the beautiful support that you bring. You bring and yes, as you say, yeah, we get there tired and frustrated or whatever thing has happened in the day or in the week, and then just to be able to get it all out, and then yeah, and then feel energized afterwards. That's amazing. That's amazing. So, what is your favorite thing about hosting the support group, ChiChi?
Well, I can never have one favorite thing, so but I'll tell you things I like. I do like being able to show up and have people at the other end, and I know that I'm going to just be around my community, and because it's scheduled, it's not dependent on how I feel. I also have the autistic struggle. Mine comes around a lot with transitions. I really struggle with transitions.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And having something that's scheduled, and it's a firm schedule. It's the UK support groups are the second and fourth Wednesday of the month, and the US support groups are the third Wednesdays of the month. For now, we're hoping to add another one, but for now. And it's generally the same schedule unless something, happens that, like some major reason. So that's helpful for me to know that it's going on. And I like, I get to meet new people, because sometimes some of the same people show up, but then new people show up with new stories, but it's variations of stories that I relate to, which is really cool. And I am building a business as a motivational speaker singer, so it's good practice for me to be in front of people and try to be articulate. So it's nice that I get to practice. And I love that, because when I was onboarding with ADHD Babes, like, it was really important to Viv that it aligned with what I wanted to do in my life. So it was like, it wasn't just, oh, do this work, do these particular roles for ADHD Babes. It's like, also, like, how does it like fit with what you're trying to do? And it's really cool that the support group hosting and being in front of people, it aligns with what I want to do. I'm an extrovert. And for a long time, I called myself a fake extrovert, because I get energy from people, but then I'm worn out. Like, I'm like, what's wrong with me? Because going to places, I was like, I'm a fake. It's like, no, I'm an extrovert, but I'm also ADHD. So, so I also like the social stuff. I didn't think I had social stuff, but yeah, people. I love people, and then I can't handle people. So it's like, it's too much and then not enough, and then too much and not enough. Like, oh my God. So, but I'm always among friends, the support group. And what Jay said about the behind the scenes as well, like getting to know the team, like, it's so cool. Like, even as I speak, like, I'm getting accolades in the chat, from Viv, from Jay, from, like, it's just, and support, and we support each other constantly. And I love that. So we get the larger support from just the community, but then the team as well. And I love that ADHD Babes is so invested, I think, in my life and what I want to do, and for my life and for the ADHD neurodivergent community, because my business, I'm starting with the neurodivergent community. So it's just all of it. And yeah, it's a home for me. It's really important. It's really, and it's in a lot of ways, it's really life-saving, because of just not having that support outside of ADHD Babes. I mean, I do have another neurodivergent group as well, but I don't have it with family, and with friends. They try, but it's not the same. So yeah, all of those reasons and more. And I like learning new stuff. I'm fascinated. Like, there's always new things to learn. In case this hasn't been mentioned, the support group, there's usually a topic. There's open space for people to talk and share. And sometimes the open space just takes over, and that is totally fine. However, there's also, if we have time, a topic, and it's nice to learn about different things about ADHD from different perspectives. And one thing I've learned about my ADHD is that I have to learn about ADHD, but then I also have to learn about how my ADHD, and also ADHD, because you have the autism, how my special flavor is. So knowing more about the general topic is helpful for me as well. So that I get that from support groups as well.
Amazing.
Can I piggyback just a little bit on what ChiChi was talking about? I just want to add one other spot. One of the other beautiful things, or one of my favorite things that I've seen, is people who bring other people to ADHD Babes after they've attended. So we've had a couple of US sessions where a sister brought her sister. When ChiChi, when you mentioned family, I'm like, we've actually literally had family bring their family to ADHD Babes. Like, come on, it's not hard. Nobody's going to make you feel uncomfortable. You don't have, if you don't want to say anything beyond check in, you don't have to do that. Um, and when somebody else feels safe enough to bring their family, that says something. In our last session, we also had, I think it was cousins. I know we've had sisters
Oh,
and we've had cousins. One cousin was like, we're going. And the other cousin was like, I'm scared. And she's like, okay, so we'll go together, even though I don't think I have ADHD. And by the end of the session, she was like, oh, I'm glad I came too.
excellent.
I
That,
remember
you know
that.
what
I
I'm
remember
saying?
that. Yes, that was lovely.
That's an ADHD baby thing. Like, well, one girl was like,
Yes.
come on, because you need the support. And then she was like, oh, I need this too. And they were both comfortable enough to like have multiple inputs during the session,
Yes, they
right?
did.
You
I
know what I'm
remember.
saying? And for that to happen on
Yes.
somebody's first session, to be comfortable enough to be like, not only is it my first time here, but I want to contribute and I feel comfortable enough to do that.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like, hey fam, come on. Hey fam, for real. For real. I love it. I
Yes.
love that.
And to see that happen and then see people come back with their, their family and friends is awesome.
It is awesome.
Amazing. Lovely. That's really nice to hear. How about you, LiLi? What's your favorite thing?
Favorite thing about hosting? Yeah, there's so many things. But one of the things is behind the scenes. So I'm piggybacking on something Jay was saying earlier. Um, yeah, practicing working in a capacity-led way rather than my default is overworking and perfectionism. And so, yeah, it's really helpful to practice within an organization that is prioritizing working in a capacity led way, because it's like it's not how things are done in wider society in capitalism. It's like such a contrast, and it's really really important, and it's something like I know it's something that I want to do, but it's really hard to do it when that's not the dominant practice. um yeah, it's something that like I think it's really important for everyone. And also I'm also chronically unwell, and so I'm like, no, I know that this is something that I need to do. So yeah, it's really affirming to be able to say, oh, I did say I was gonna do this, but actually I'm not able to. Like, I'm trying to be communicative. Like, what can we do? And come up with ways together around what we can do, and like vice versa. Sometimes other people aren't able, and then I'm like, oh no, but I can now. So yeah, sure, I'm happy to cover. And it's like, oh, well, actually, we can do this. Like, yeah, even when we're not well, we can still support each other. Even when there's a lot of stuff going on in life, we can still, like, it doesn't have to be an all or nothing thing. It doesn't have, um, so that's something that I really value. And I also really love reading the feedback. So we meet up, we have support group, yeah, support group host meetings, where we look at the feedback so that we can like keep improving what we're doing, and check in on like how what we're doing is being received. And it's really affirming to see the difference that it makes for people. And it's really awesome as well that it's not like, okay, we are hosting, so we are going to decide how everything happens. Like, oh, okay, the babes want this. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Okay, let's see, how can we do that? Or like, let's try this next time, and making these like continuous tweaks. And yeah, I really appreciate that about it as well. It's something that's flexible, co-created, collaborative, like all of these things. So those are some of my favorite things.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for all that. Nate, telling us all of the favorite things that you guys enjoy about being part of this group, support group, and leading it. So, Viv, what is your favorite thing about hosting the support group?
I would say my favorite part, similar to what everybody said, like the team support behind the scenes, which feels like a mini support group in and of itself. And yeah, I just think the mix of people, like, it's really joyous to log on and like someone is in France, and then you got someone in the Caribbean, and then you got someone from the US, who's like, and then even the other day when we hosted one, someone's like, yeah, I've been going to the US one. I'm based in the UK, but yeah, I've just been going there. And I'm like, I love that so much. Yeah, just from the different walks of life. And yeah, like one of the check-in questions is like, where are you from? And sometimes people say where they live, and other times people say, you know, my family come from here. And it's just, yeah, it feels like a real celebration and like a moment of being in community where the focus is not on like what's wrong, it's just on being together based on these characteristics of who we are. So being able to sit in that and just find some joy and laughter and hold space for each other. And then similar to what LiLi said, like the feedback is always so beautiful. I'm like, rah, what? 2 hours? You can make people feel like that in 2 hours. Yeah. Then we need a retreat or like a residential or something. It is really reaffirming for people to say that something is a lifeline for them, or like it saved them, or it's given them hope, or people have said that they've like quit toxic jobs or like left toxic relationships because of the support that they've got from the space. I'm like, that is like life-changing for real. So I think just the knowing that something as structured and simple in concept of holding space for 2 hours, initially 2 times a month, now 3 times a month, can literally like change the trajectory of people's lives. Wow, that feels wonderful.
It does indeed. It feels really, really good. And thank you for that answer so much, Vivienne. And now that I've got you here, I might as well go directly and ask you, how can people join the support group?
So people can join the support group through our Eventbrite. You can find the link to our link tree on all our socials, which is Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, and all of it is ADHD Babes across all platforms. Yeah, our link tree is ADHD Babes events, or just ADHD Babes, and get a link to that. You can also join our weekly newsletter, which goes out to the wider community on a Monday. You can become a member, and then you can get that update on a Thursday, so you get first dibs. You get early access. And then we also have like a quarterly newsletter that's for literally anyone and everyone to know what we're up to. But again, if you want early dibs, then you need to be on the internal mailing list for that.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And again, in true support group fashion, can you tell me, any one of you, can you tell me what you're looking forward to for the week ahead? ChiChi, will I pick you?
Yeah, sure. Pick me. Pick me. No. What I'm looking forward to. Well, okay. In true neurodivergent fashion, I'm looking forward to it and dreading it at the same time. So, I want to record my speaker reel, and I need to buy like a green screen. And so I'm looking forward to like getting to the point where I'm recording my speaker reel. It's supposed to happen tomorrow, but it's not going to happen tomorrow. But so I'm looking forward to it and dreading it, because I've been like avoiding this, but excited about it, but avoiding it. So that's what I'm looking forward to / dreading, but also excited about / afraid.
I'm also doing some trading as well. I have so much paper to get rid of. It's incredible how much we can hold on to for years and years and years. So yes, I'm also decluttering. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to actually doing this week.
Good for you. Decluttering is good.
Yes, it feels great. I've been doing it for the last 6 months now, and it's been amazing.
Good for you.
How about you, LiLi?
Yeah, I had to look at my planner in true ADHD fashion. I'm like, what am I doing this week? And my planner has reminded me that this week I'm starting. I'm facilitating a series of workshops that starts end of this week that are called Choose Your Own Adventure, that are about like organizing in a fun way. So I also, like ChiChi, I'm like looking forward to and like nervous about. So yeah, that's something I'm looking forward to this week. And also, ChiChi, I hope that you will share your speaker reel with us.
Yay!
Heck yeah! Heck yeah! You know it. You know ADHD Babes is the first company I'm pitching. You know this. Yes.
Brilliant. Jay?
Same thing. I found an event that's actually in person in I like online community, but I'm trying to show up for some in-person community. And so,
That is huge. Leaving the house?
and
Yes,
look, and
yes.
during the week, like
Wow,
Oh,
weekends during
yes.
the week,
That is
that is
it's
next
a
level.
big,
Bless
yes,
big
you.
yeah,
struggle to do that.
yeah. I found the event. I bought the tickets. It'll be a great chance to meet other people new to my area, and so I'm going. I'm going. I'm going. So lots of trepidation about that, but that's part of, one of the commitments I made to myself is also finding some in-person community. Um, so yeah, that. I have a mobility issue, so sometimes I'm on a cane and sometimes I'm not. And currently I'm on my cane and I'm not going to stop that. Not going to allow that to stop me from going. So,
Yes,
uh,
Good for you.
yeah.
Good for
absolutely.
Thank
you.
you.
Well,
Good for
Thank you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Can
Yes.
you
brilliant.
tell I'm
Good
nervous?
for you. Yes, yes. But you're doing it,
Yeah.
Jay. You
Yeah.
go.
Well
Yeah.
done, well done. How are you?
Thank
How
you.
about you, Viv?
I am gonna be performing at a festival on the weekend in West Sussex.
Ooh,
Woo, West
that's
Sussex.
so
Yeah,
much
yeah.
fun. Yeah, that sounds super fun.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. It's like with a band that I started performing with recently.
Yes.
So yeah, it's like the last gig of the summer. So I'm like, yeah, just excited
Oh
to.
So
God, well
fun.
done. Yeah, send us loads of videos, please.
Yes, I
Yes,
So
we'd
we
shall.
love
can
to see
see
that.
that. Yeah.
Yes, shall. Thank you. What's
So
yours, Anna?
my looking forward. I have what's it called, an outing with my children on Saturday, and it's meant to be like one of those, I don't even know how to explain. It's an inflatable, it's a massive inflatable thing.
Like a bouncy
Yeah,
castle or
yeah, but it's
something.
in the
Fun.
water.
Huh.
It's in the water. It's in some river down somewhere in the south, which I can't recall the name. St. Andrews. St. Andrews. That's what it's called. Yes. Yes, I'm looking forward to doing that on the weekend with the kids. Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Yes.
Yes,
Sounds fun.
absolutely.
Yes.
Um, so thank you so much, babes, for sharing all of these wonderful plans that you've got in the week ahead. Thank you for being in this space, for sharing so much about the support group. I've learned so much today. I mean, one of the things that resonates, well, I'm going to take away with me today is about using this group and this space to heal as a community. You know, the fact that when you show up, you find your people, you find that space that is safe, secure. If you come tired, or if you're there and you're cooking or you're braiding your hair or whatever, and you come out with so much energy because you've been listened to and you've been hearing other stories that also, you know, some way or another, you would also have experienced at some point. I love the fact that all the practical resources that they tell you about. Sometimes as people with neurodiversities or ADHD, we don't know where to go. Filling out forms, filling out applications, things to do with our jobs, our rights, all of that, and being able to have that, to take that away with you is amazing. So we uplifting people, we're making people feel validated. Um, when you come to this space, you are held with care, you are held with joy and laughter. So, and sometimes, I mean, I can imagine that you might also feel very emotional and you're also, people are there crying and letting all of their emotions out. So it's wonderful that ADHD Babes is providing the space for us.
Sorry, before you do the final spill, just to shout out the funders who are funding us right now. for the support group. Yeah, so just to also thank the organizations that are funding us to put on the support group and pay everybody on the team who host the sessions. So at the moment, we are funded by the National Lottery Fund, their Community for All Fund. So yeah, big them up. Thank them so much for funding us for the last year up until 2026 April. Hopefully that will continue. And just to shout out the two funders that actually gave us a grant in the early stages when we didn't have any money. Arnold Clark just gave us our first ever grant. Big up them. And then the Synergy grant, which also was able to hold us for at least a year. So yeah, just to really thank them for believing in us and believing in our community when nobody else did.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Viv.
Thank you, funders. Yay.
Yes. Thank you all for joining us this week. If any of our listeners would like to connect with you, how can they get in touch?
Well, you can find me, ChiChi Anu, mostly on TikTok. I'm on other platforms, but I'm just trying to keep it simple on TikTok and YouTube at ChiChi Anu, ChiChiEnu on TikTok and YouTube. Love to hear from you.
Thank you. Jay?
You can find me at all_things, THINGS_J_IG. Sorry, that's the one that was available. And you can look all things J number 2 on TikTok. I'm overhauling my social media, so at the moment it may look a little bare, but feel free to shoot me a DM or hit my link tree for any workshops I might be hosting or courses that I might be running at the time. So I do. I'm also an ADHD coach and a practicing therapist, and so I do train adults who are late diagnosed on how to practically live with ADHD, how to get from that to-do list to done. So there you go.
Brilliant.
That's where you can
Thank
find
you.
me.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jay. LiLi?
So you can find me primarily on Instagram. My handle is cherrytree_walk. And you can also find me on my website, which is cherrytreewalk.com. And yeah, I've got like information about my workshops, which are creativity and nature inspired and connecting.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And Viv?
So yeah, you can find me on the ADHD Babes account as well. But, my personal account and music account is the letters VVN and then sings. So Victor November sings, and that's across all platforms: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, SoundCloud as well. I've got some music on there and on Spotify. If you type in VVN. I've got an EP and a single out there as well. And you can also find me on LinkedIn. I'm trying to be more active on LinkedIn. And it's just my full name, Vivienne Isebor, Isebor. Yeah, find me across all those.
Thank you. Well, there you have.
Oh, I'm on LinkedIn as well. I could.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm me too.
You're me
So
too.
yes, ChiChi Anu, trying to the LinkedIn. Woof. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you, Vivienne, for bringing that up.
reminding. Excellent.
Yes.
Well, thank you for joining us in this episode. Please feel free to follow so you don't miss any future episodes. Once again, we'd love it if you could leave us a rating and a review and let everyone know your thoughts. Catch you next time. See you next time, guys. It was a pleasure. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of ADHD Babes, the podcast. If you're a Black woman or non-binary person and need help and support in managing your ADHD or advice on diagnosis, please visit ADHDBabes.com. No clinical diagnosis is required to join. Join us in 2 weeks for a new episode. Until then, all the love from the ADHD Babes team.
Just as I am, can you take me just as I am?